Good morning. Remember that word that we talked about yesterday? The big long word, the 13-letter word that means animals that can change from one being to another being, like the frog and caterpillar, or the tadpole or pollywog can go to a frog, and the caterpillar changes to a butterfly. Yeah. And that big word was metamorphosis. Yes. And I challenge you to think of another animal that changes, like the tadpole or pollywog and the butterfly or the caterpillar. So, did you find one? If you did, let me know. You can have mommy tell me. But I want to introduce one, and this is the silkworm. And you might have seen the silkworm before. Maybe your preschool did it, looked at silkworms, but they change. And a silkworm, it's going to tell you inside. So this is a nonfiction book. And inside, it's written by Ron and Patricia. And it has photographs. It's a nonfiction, so therefore it has the table of contents with the chapters. But inside it says meet the silkworm. And a silkworm is an insect. It is not a worm. It is a caterpillar, actually. A silkworm looks like it has many, many legs right here. You can see, but actually up here there is only 6 true legs. 6 true legs, and that makes it an insect. It uses the other 10 legs to just cling on. So these legs. Many years ago, silkworms lived in the wild, but today silkworms only live on silk farms. Silkworms are domesticated, or kind of like pets. Silkworm farmers raise them to get the silk thread used to make silk blouses or tops or dresses. So actually these worms make material that we use and can wear. On day 1, they start as an egg. The silkworm begins life in a tiny egg. The egg is one of about 300 sticky yellow eggs laid by the female or the girl moth. The egg needs to be cold. Let me turn this. The egg needs to be cold for a few weeks. Then the egg is warmed up and the center turns black. The warm egg hatches in about 10 days. And I wish we could do this at school so you could see. I've done it before. What's interesting is they love a certain kind of leaf, and we have it right in our backyard, in our playground at school. When the tiny silkworm larva is ready to hatch, it bites a hole in the egg and then it wiggles out. The newly hatched silkworm larva looks like a tiny black string. At first it is too weak to crawl very far, but it is ready to eat. And these are the special leaves that we have in our backyard. Who remembers the name of the tree in our backyard that we drew during the summer, fall, and winter? And it doesn't look like we're going to get to do our spring tree right now. But you drew it, and it's called starts with an M, mulberry tree. So look, the new larva needs to have its food close by. It eats only one thing. It won't eat anything else but the mulberry tree leaves. In a few days, the larva will be stronger and it will crawl from leaf to leaf. And it starts getting a lot whiter, not black anymore. The larva eats a lot of mulberry leaves. It does not drink water. it gets enough moisture from the leaves. So all it does is eat, and it only eats one thing, the mulberry leaves, and it doesn't drink. The larva skin does not stretch as it grows. So kind of like a snake, as it gets bigger, the silkworm molts or loses its skin. The old skin splits and the silkworm kind of wiggles out of it, wearing his new skin. The larva the larva molts. So the silkworm loses its skin 4 times. After the 4th time, the larva eats even more mulberry leaves than it did before. And it grows to be about as long as one of your fingers, not quite mine, but your finger. So if you look at your finger, that's how big the silkworm grows. And it started off so tiny as a little egg. Then the larva is ready to spin. And it spins not a chrysalis like a butterfly, a cocoon, which is really cool to watch. It makes its cocoon from one long sticky thread. So one long sticky thread he keeps twirling around, and it's coming out of his mouth. That's pretty interesting. See if I can get you to see that. You hear my clock going off? All right, first the larva spins a silk web, then it spins and spins for 3 days. So for 3 days it's spinning in there, and it spins a cocoon around itself. Just kind of like the caterpillar, but just different. This is really oval shaped, but spherical like, and it is inside the cocoon, the larva molts, which means it loses its skin one more time. And this time it changes to brown, a color brown, and it has a hard shell on it. That's all inside, you can't see that. And after 2 more weeks, the shell splits and miraculously, which is just amazing, it was a silkworm, and now it's a moth, not a butterfly, but a moth. It's a white moth, and it has wings, large eyes, and what's really cool is its feathery antenna. So let me show you a picture of that. Look at it, almost like it has big eyelashes. It's kind of hard to see. That's his eye. And then these are like these long eyelashes. It's time for the silk moth to leave the cocoon to get out. It splits a special it spits out of its mouth a special liquid, and the liquid wets the inside of the cocoon and makes a hole in the strong silk. This silk moth pulls itself through the hole in about an hour. It takes about an hour, and unfolds its wings and starts to dry out. And that's actually what he looks like. Look at those big eyelashes, the antenna looking eyelashes. They're not really eyelashes, but they're antenna, which is really cool. The silk moth has 6 legs because it's still an insect, and 2 antennae. It also has 4 wings, but it cannot fly. It only flutters. So it's one of the insects that has wings, but it can't fly. And for the next few days, the silk moth does not eat or drink anything. Doesn't eat or drink. On the silk farm, it looks like this. These are all the cocoons on the farm. And the silk thread of the cocoon is woven into cloth. So this is a person on the farm who is going through the cocoons, and the they if the silkworm is allowed to change to a moth, it ruins the silk. So in these farms, they boil them and they kill, unfortunately, the silkworm so that they can use the thread then to make beautiful garments or dresses out of silk. And you can see, I think they show you like this is a silk dress or kimono. And this is the thread being, so all the silkworms make this silky thread that they use to make things out of. Yep, it's like one big spider web that's unwound, and then they wind it up on these strands, and then somebody will come and get the strands and dye it different colors and make the different beautiful clothes. So from this little silkworm, we get clothes. Pretty interesting. But if the silkworm was in the wild, after it came out and it became a moth, the only thing it would do would find a mate. And they would mate, and then they would have eggs. The mommy would lay the eggs. And after that, they both die. So really their job is to make that silk and then mate again. And that's it. That's the life cycle. It goes from egg to larva, which are like tiny worms, and then to a bigger larva, which is like the big silkworm, cocoon, and out comes the moth. Oh, I forgot. The pupa. So silkworm, pupa, the moth leaving, and then the full silk moth. And so all of that is called metamorphosis. And it's quite amazing. There's only 3 or 4, maybe a couple more animals that do this here on Earth. So it's kind of fun to learn about them. Today I have, if you haven't heard it, a song called Metamorphosis that I would usually sing with you at this time. So I want you to go and find that song, and also one about a volcano. It's called Mount St. Helens, and it's a really fun song. And hopefully some of the bigger brothers and sisters will show you the moves. They're gonna, I asked them to send me some videos of them doing the moves to both of the songs, and maybe we'll have somebody share. So hope you have a good day. Thanks for listening. Be kind and try your best at all your work today. Miss Tina loves you. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.